So, hello everybody. I have shared with you my story, and now I would like to share with you a story that's much more important than mine, but it is tied to mine, and that is God's story. And many of you have probably heard this, and some of you have not. That's why I feel compelled to share this right now. And so I'd like to do that with a little visual. So, right now, we live in a world that is broken. I mean, you don't have to look far to see brokenness, broken families, war, disasters. It's just all around us, and there's a lot of pain. I mean, you see it everywhere. But this was not the original plan, all right? God had his perfect plan. So we're going to put over here, God's perfect plan. In his original design, he had a perfect design for our lives and for the world. But we have turned away from that, and through something called sin, this brokenness was allowed in. So it eventually leads us to death, and this is a death that will separate us from God forever. But he doesn't want us to stay in this brokenness, so he has made a way out, and that's down here. And that way out is Jesus. So Jesus comes, he enters into a life, a world of brokenness, and he was the only sinless person to ever live. And so he takes himself, he dies on the cross, and his body is broken for us. 3 days after he died, he rose from the dead, and he made a way out of the brokenness. All right? So many times we try to bust out of brokenness by filling ourselves up with stuff like, let's say, gambling, pornography, sex in general. It can even be religion, addiction, you name it. We try to fill ourselves up with so many ways, but it never works. Or if it does work, it's for a very short time. It's not a lasting fix. And so Jesus was the way out of our brokenness. And so how do we do that? Well, we turn away from our sin and we believe. All right? By believing, then it means to follow him and make him the Lord of our lives. All right? And by doing this, we grow in knowing about him, and we enter back into God's perfect design for our lives. Now, this is an ongoing thing. I mean, this will happen for the rest of our lives. We're constantly growing back into God's perfect plan. But then guess what? We can go back into this broken world and tell people about a way out. So, my question to you, where are you? Are you still over here feeling down and trying to come out of brokenness, or are you over here? Where are you? I'd love to hear from you. Questions, comments, stories. I'd love to hear it all. But for now, that's God's story.